Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very interesting but cool video because I've gone and bought myself a new car. I've noticed a lot of YouTubers nowadays love to buy expensive cars, such as Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Nissan GTRs, you literally name it, the list goes on. And being someone who also uploads on YouTube, I thought I'd like to join in with all those rich kids. So without further ado, here's my new ride. Yes, that's right, I've gone and bought myself a 2008 Peugeot 107. Now some of you probably think I'm crazy, and I'll probably agree with you, but I do have my reasons which I'll explain later on in the video. But first of all, I want to talk about some performance figures first. Now I'll be honest with you, but I don't really know that much about Peugeot 107s, but I do know this car has got a 3-cylinder petrol engine with only 67 brake horsepower, and that gives you a shocking 0 to 60 time in 15 seconds. And also a thing I should be worried about is there's some loose components in the engine bay, and the problems don't end there because the wheel nuts are starting to rust along with the brake pads. The rear section of this car seems to have been in a rear end collision, judging by the spoiler being welded back on. Yes, you're hearing that right. And the rear parking sensors seem to be aftermarket because it makes this noise when I put the car in reverse.
Stop. Stop.
And finally, the double red stripe is peeling off, which is a shame because it added 20 brake horsepower. Next up, I want to talk about the interior of the Peugeot 107, and it doesn't get any better in here. Because first off, there's so many cigarette burns in this car, especially the rear seats because they're littered with cigarette burns. And also the front driver's seat as well has one massive cigarette burn on it. And we're talking about cigarette burns, there's also a massive hole in the center dash where I guess the previous owner put his cigarette ashes. Furthermore, there's also a lot of loose items in this Peugeot 107, starting off with the plastic covers on the door handles. If you slam the door too hard, they will 100% fly off, which is a great design feature by Peugeot. Another thing about the door is if you try pull the window switch too hard, which some passengers will do, the whole unit will just come out, and it's just so hilarious. Next up, I want to discuss the storage space in this Peugeot 107, and what I mean by that is the lack of storage space in this car. I mean, fair enough, it's a small car, it doesn't really need storage space. However, the side pockets are completely useless. The cup holders in the center middle bit, which there is 3 of, cannot fit big bottles. And even if it does fit the small bottles, if they're empty, they will just fly under your feet anyway and end up making you probably crash. Even though the interior of the Peugeot 107 is utter crap, there are a few things that I like about it. First off, the rev counter. It's nice there in your eye line so I could see it. Perfect for learning drivers. And the second thing is the sunroof, but it doesn't work in my car, unfortunately. If it did work, that would be great. And also, thirdly, are these seats. I mean, they're pretty cool, they look sporty, but the only thing is they're just quite uncomfortable. Okay guys, let's go for a little drive now, as it's the drive segment of the video. But I must say, it's just about to hit actually 85,000 miles. And I must say, I think this car is reaching the end of its life. The engine light's on, the engine is awful. A lot of people say 85,000 miles is not a lot, and yeah, I do agree with some people. However, 85,000 miles for a 1-litre car is a lot, especially with this car being 12 years old. But yeah, the handling, I don't think there's any power steering, because I don't think there is. So when I go over potholes, if you do go over potholes, you would just get swerved. The car will just swerve to the left or right. And it does get dangerous, so you kind of have to keep both hands on the wheel at all times, or you will lose control of the car. The hazard lights in this car are also screwed, I don't know why, so it must have some wiring problem when it got rear-ended, which I'm sure it did sometime in its life, because the rear bumper is literally hanging off. But it does have rear parking sensors, which makes a funny noise when you put it in reverse. I think it says go back. I'm sure I've discussed it earlier on in the video and you've seen it, but that just makes me giggle every time I put it in reverse. But you do get overtaken a lot in this car, common thing, so you're gonna have to get used to it. I can't really do anything about it. The clutch and the gearbox in this car are absolutely screwed. I mean, bloody hell. It's got, I think, Peugeot 107s, second-hand ones, have probably got the worst gearbox going. Yeah. It just, sometimes it doesn't go into gear. I do like this car though, sometimes I do like it, especially this car is for towns, busy towns and cities, because it just fits everywhere. And when you park it, you don't have to think about your car. Like, I'm not bothered when I just whack this down the street in a rough street or whatever, tight street, and someone crashes into it, because at the end of the day, I'm not bothered. It's got a load of bumps and scratches on it anyway, so my mind's always calm. I'm not worrying about my car, which is what I want at the end of the day. I think this car serves that purpose perfectly. The only thing it does well. But I'm sure you guys are all wondering what the hell is going on with the 10th gen Civic that I've got. But you know, nothing's happening with that. That's just still on the driveway. I don't think I'm going to be driving it that much because I've got this car now. So yeah, I'll just drive that car now and then. I do want to put some mods on that car. I do want to get some carbon fibre Mugen mirror caps. However, they're 700 quid. So don't know about that. I don't know if I want to map it as well, because if I do put a stage 1 on it, it's going to bring it up to 224 brake horsepower, which is excellent, and that's what I need in a Civic. But I'm not too sure about modding the Civic, because at the end of the day, it's just a waste of money, and I want to get a better car in the future, so it wouldn't make sense putting money into the Civic even. It's because it's a small car as well, you would assume it's nippy, but it's not. If you try to go around a corner quite quick, you will oversteer 100%, so I would be wary about that if you ever do have a 107. So to end this little drive section then, when I first picked up the car, which was last week, I got some of my reactions off my mates, so I'll roll those now and I'll let you see how their reactions were. What do you think, Mush?
What the fuck is this?
What do you think?
Why the fuck have you got this, man?
What do you think, Mush?
Fucking awful.
What do you think?
The Civic. What are you
What
doing?
do you think? Do you like it? It's got a spoiler.
What are you doing in that car?
Do you like the stripes?
You're gonna drive around with that?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Perfect
Why
sit.
did you get the Civic?
Perfect spin. Don't diss. Look, got squad. So there you go then. This is my new car, or new semi-project car, should I call it. What do you guys think? What mod should I add to it? Or is it a really bad choice that I've done and a really bad decision? But you know, at the end of the day, it's going to build up my no claims bonus, and insurance is really cheap on it. So I think it's all happy days, but I'll let you know.